So I picked this quad up a while back. I know it is a YFZ450, but I do forget what year. Let's find that out. We got the VIN right in here. 10th digit from the left will be a 6. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 6. So 2006 YFZ 450. So you see it's in pretty good shape. I mean, tires have seen better days, but overall plastics look really good. You know, it's not painted, no scuff marks. Hardly any paint taken off of the frame there. This side's got a little bit, but as you can see here, it's been scraped up by the chain. There's no case saver on it. Looks like one of the mounts for the case saver broke, so possibly that could have correlated, but there is a little notch right there, but it's not all the way through. It's not leaking any oil. So I guess we're good for now until it does maybe pop off one more time, but I'm gonna roll with the punches here. Looks like it's missing the bottom roller in here. So it does need one of those. Upper roller is really good. Let's check the oil. Yeah, you gotta start these to get it on the dipstick, but so there's they picked this thing up for a good deal. I think it was like 1,500 bucks. I want to say back at the beginning of the summer, and I just haven't touched it because I was working on other projects. But it does have the DG exhaust. It's missing a bolt there, but I've heard these are pretty rare. I'm not quite sure, but that's what I've been told. It does have a few weld spots up here, so it's kind of boogered on there, but it does have new brake pads. Not sure if it's the correct ones, but they are new and they are working. That's good. Yeah. The motor looks pretty good too. Not sure if it was rebuilt. I don't really see any new gaskets on there, but the cylinder head looks pretty clean. Don't appear to see any oil leaks. You know, it's all pretty much intact. Looks like it has a newer brake light on there. Could use some grips. Clutch is working. That's parking brake's definitely not working. But looks to be pro taper bars. Got quite a bit of play in the throttle here, which I think it could be adjusted inside of here, but we'll see. That's a lot of play. Don't know if it's bottoming out on the carb there, but we will see. But this thing has no power when I hit the key. You know, nothing. So, no neutral light. does have a battery in there. Pretty sure it's just a low battery charge. It's got a new K&N style filter. But I'm going to hook up a battery here and see if we can get it going. But let's see what happens. I'm gonna hook up a battery real fast. All right, so this is like a few days later after that last section of me trying to crank it. I was cranking slow. I did end up hooking up to my other quad with the full battery, and it was cranking fast. Even with the start button, it was cranking pretty good. So the starter does work, and doesn't seem to be any problems with that. But it did not want to start at all, even with the choke on. And this thing has been sitting for a long while, probably like a year or two. So I'm assuming the carburetor is gunked up. So we do have gas in it, but you can see all this stuff right here. That's probably bad gas, actually. Yeah, that smells really weird, but I'm almost certain that's bad gas. I'm gonna get a water bottle and something and try to check the gas out, see how that looks. Okay, I'm gonna turn the petcock off first. Damn. Yeah, it's crusty. Okay. What is that? What is this? It's the bottom of the gas cap. That's not good. It's definitely probably some old gas. We'll check it out. Yeah, that was really bad. Still crusty, but I cleaned the majority of it off. So we'll check that gas real quick. Turn this thing on, and nothing's coming out. Let's go to reserve. Come on, this thing's really crusty. Still nothing. Very little bit. A little bit more. Oh no. Oh, there's some crud in there. pretty yellow. I need to go on one. Yeah, we're gonna have to drain all this out. No. Let's stop it here. Here's the gas. Pretty yellow. All this stuff in the bottom here. Look at all that. I watched it just come out of that hose. So the bottom of that tank is pretty dirty. I don't really see any water though. Yeah, I don't see any water, but it is pretty nasty. So I'm gonna take these clips out right here. I don't got a clip puller, but I do need one. A few clips on top. We're gonna pop this bolt off. There. And here's the two Allen heads right here. It was barely trickling out. Let's see if I can get a good angle here. Let's call it that good. But you got a few Phillips heads on the bottom here, and then that'll come right out. It might just be partially clogged. You can take it off by, you have a bolt here at the tip of here, and then two on the cover there, and that'll pop off. And you can pretty much get to everything else on there. So. Oh boy, I can already see it. Look at that. So that's why stuff was getting clogged up, is because this screen here is busted. See all the, yeah, both these screens are busted. It's just falling apart. You can see all the nasty goo here. It must be super old gas. Man, I'm just gonna clean it up, and if this ends up still breaking, I'm just gonna make sure both lines will. So I'm assuming this is the reserve and this is the on position. So this is definitely clogged. We'll get cleaned up. Let's get these bolts out. We got a little gasket there. It's pretty nasty. But look in there. Very nasty. Oh yeah. The on position line is so clogged up. Kind of just want to get this rubber out of there so I can run some brake clean through it. I don't want this gasket to dry up on us. See if we can't break it. There we go. So that's pretty nasty, but we'll get that cleaned up too. Yeah. It's pretty rough. Also, the gasket here, we'll just hope that doesn't leak after spraying it down. But I'll take my chances just because it needs a new one anyways, but we'll see what we can do. Okay. Oh yeah, see, that big chunk right there just shot out of there. Oh yeah. burn the eyeballs for sure. Jesus. Whew. Face is burning. Yeah, that screen is pretty much non-existent now. Oh well. We'll eventually order up a new one. Might as well just get it all off so it doesn't fly into the gas tank. So I'm not going to get a new one right now. We just want to see if this quad runs first. You know, if this is going to be dirty and the gas tank's going to be dirty, the carburetor's for sure going to be gunked up. Alright, seems to be working. I can now blow through both the holes now. Seems to be working, you know? Alright, put it back on the tank. Let's see what else we got in the tank. Huh? Let's try that again. There's like sand in there. It's like sandy looking stuff, I don't know. But that's all cleared out of there. Put some fresh fuel in there after I get the carburetor cleaned up. Took out the carb off. Was not fun. The gas is pretty yellow. But it's a little stuck on there, but it's a whole lot easier when you have the right size bit on a little wrench. Gives you more leverage than a screwdriver does. But let's get this out. And none of these are stripped either. I feel like this carburetor has probably never been taken apart. I'm assuming, or at least not in a while. Everything's just really crusty and a little rusty. Yeah. Oh shit. Forgot the fuel screw. Let's count how many turns we got. Let's see. Half, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5. Damn, about 3 3/4. I'm gonna have to adjust that. I don't know though. It does have aftermarket exhaust, but stock airbox. So let's get that out. Should be a washer, spring, and O-ring that comes out with it. There's a spring. Oh yeah, it's still stuck in there. Hopefully the gasket doesn't leak, but I'm almost certain that it probably will. I don't know, we'll find out. It's a little dirty underneath, but not really too bad. But I can see the jets being clogged up. Let's see. I think the needle's stuck in there. It's not moving. Let's see if I can get that out. It slides right out. Let's get the jets out first, kind of in the way. Main jet. It's clear. Oh, actually, that's partially clogged. This is like a tiny hole. Now it's pretty big. But we got a 168. Spray some brake cleaner through there. Good stream. That comes off. Let's see if we can get that out. Yep. No gas in there. It's not damaged. Okay, that came out. Yeah, it's a little dirty in there, but it's still rubbery. Partially clogged. Good. Oh yeah. See how dirty that was. It's stuck in there. It's good now. Get a little sandpaper kind of clean inside here for the needle so it doesn't get stuck. Got that sanded up a little bit. Looking pretty clean. So I wanna check the accelerator pump. Diaphragm looks pretty good. Got the O-ring over here. Just gonna spray through the passages, see if it's got, see if it's clear. That one is clear. So spray through here. No. Clear. Clear. Got the carburetor on. you can see, it's not all the way on, but just for testing purposes, the petcock is not leaking, carburetor is not leaking. I did have to adjust the float height because it was leaking when I first put it in there, but we got to get a battery for it. This is a different one from my other quad, but I got it hooked up, and it does start up and run now. We'll hook it up. I did hook up the connection here, so that turns on, and then runs pretty good. I did have to go about 4.5 turns on the fuel screw, so it's not completely jetted for the DG exhaust there, but I got it pretty close to where it starts with no choke, so that's nice. And the motor is still cold, so that's a plus. So neutral is working. I don't want to run it too long with actually no battery hooked up to the terminals, because I don't want to blow the bulbs and the headlights and taillights. So I do need to do the oil change because this is filled to the brim with oil. Let's see. I don't know if the previous owner didn't change it right, and I hope it is circulating through the line, that's not clogged. But the oil does seem pretty clean, so I'm assuming it's good. But like I said, I do get a lower roller for this, so now I know that it does run and does not smoke. And now I can get down to the rear carrier. That's really the main issue right now. There's a lot of play in it. I don't have my jack available right now. My brother's using it for his truck, but there's a ton of play. And when I got it, the bolts for the carrier were loose, so that explains why the bearing is out. As you can see in there, it is toast. Very bad. It does have new brakes though, so I do have to end up getting a new battery because the one that was in it is not charging. So that battery's probably bad. But it's not dripping any coolant, so the water pump seals are probably good. Oh, that's good. At least I think so. Let me see here. Why is it tucked in there like that? Huh. That's weird. It's like smashed in there. I hope it's not leaking. I'm gonna have to figure that out. But I'm gonna take that clamp off of there just to see that it's not leaking. I don't know if it's pinched at the end to cause it not to leak, but I'm about to find out. I just took that off, and the weep hole is not leaking. And I did check the radiator cap, and it is full of blue coolant. So water pump seals are good, and we are full on the reservoir here, so that's nice. So no head gasket blown, oil's not milky, and there wasn't a ton of pressure inside the radiator. Got all the plastics back together. Looking pretty complete right now. But like I said, the next thing I gotta do is do the carrier bearing. I just wanted to see if it ran good first before I even did the bearing. But crazy enough, when I got the quad, these bolts were already loose, so they're only like hand tight. I'm pretty sure he wrote it like that, which made it go bad. And it's pretty bad, you can see in there. But I'm gonna lift up the rear end, take off the wheels, and I'll show you all the play. Alright, so you can see here, look at all that play. Crazy. That whole thing is shot. So take this chain off. Here's the master link. Push that down, and should be able to push the link through to get that off there. Came right off. Alright, looks like it is an O-ring chain. Got a few O-rings in there. Don't want to lose those. There we go. Should come right off. Now I'm going to take this axle nut off. Yeah, just look at that. That's crazy. I'm going to take the axle nut off with the cotter pin. There's like a washer right here, and this hub should slide right off. Next, I'm going to take the brakes off. Gotta loosen up the carrier bearing. Oh, oh. They're already loose. Slowly going. There we go. Bingo. Oh yeah. Yeah. She's a little toast, huh? She's a little toasted. Alright, so now we can get the circ clip off of here, take the caliper stay off, then we should be able to push the rest of that carrier bearing out of there. Oh shit. Just a little turning action. Right to the face. That's alright, it's off now. It should come off now. Come on. Don't be like that. Okay. Pretty sure it came with new O-rings for that, so that's good. Now this should come off. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, all the bearings in there. I don't know if you can see it, but all the ball bearings are gone inside of there. There's a lot of rust. Definitely needed a beating out of there. Even here is wallowed out where the axle was kind of riding. It was bad. It was pretty good in here. Just needs to be cleaned up. There's a lot of sand and stuff in there. But we'll get the new one and compare it. See how it looks. Yep. At least it came out. It wasn't seized onto the axle. that's everything. Here's what I got. I got the Coltric carrier. When ordering this, I didn't know it did not come with the new O-rings, so I had to buy a different kit of O-rings. But this is just for this. But I could have reused the other ones from the old one, but one actually busted, and I might as well go with a whole new kit. So comes with the grease fitting here. I'll throw some grease in there before I throw it in. But go around here. All right, first one's in. Goes here. Like so. You have two of the smaller ones. One's gonna be bigger than the other. We just throw the smaller ones in after we get the carrier inside the swing arm. Put the small O-rings on. So the bigger one goes around the edge against the wall here, and then the smaller one goes on that second notch. Not the first one. The first one's for the circlip. The second notch is for that O-ring. So I did grease that fitting as well. So grease on these. Alright, so this one's a smaller one. Goes on the small notch. Or this goes on the second notch. Like so. Big one. Goes up against there like that. So that's how that's supposed to be. Now we can get that axle on. got a side that's flat and a side that has a curve. You want the curved side against the swing arm. That's where that O-ring sits right here. So it goes in this way. Yeah, this fell off, but hold on like so. This goes in. Got the cert clip here. Goes up like that. We can tighten this after we get the chain on and everything else. It's a lot easier that way. But next, that's what kind of stops it from going that way, is this nut right here. The hub on there. Then you got the washer with the castle nut. So that's how that goes. Let me put the caliper back in, I guess. These two, can't forget about, 2 Allens. That's good, that's good. Last thing will be these Allens. Tighten it up in there. Buddy. See, looks really nice. Super new. Super shiny. We like shiny. So, one thing I do have is another chain guide slide for the bottom here. It goes right in here. For the bottom there, so it don't wreck the frame on the bottom. Dang, now that I think about it, since this bottom roller is gone, me putting a new one in, it's gonna put more tension on the chain, so I do have to adjust the chain again. So, what else did I get? I also got new handlebar grips. This one's in pretty good shape. Looks like he put glue on it. So maybe it's not the right size. Yeah, you can see how much is hanging off there. It's not the right size. So yeah, I got new grips. I did get a new battery. Then this one should be good. Good to go. Oh, and I got oil for an oil change. So I will be doing the oil change. We have coolant. That's good. got the new grips. Only downside of these ones, they are on the cheaper end, and they will touch the throttle. You just gotta cut a little bit off, but no biggie. Still, it's a lot better than what was on it. We got the lower chain guide right there, the roller. You can see it rolls good now with it. That's good. Adjusted the chain with it, so that's good. About 2 fingers. Yeah. So that is good. I guess the only thing I gotta do now is the oil change and put the battery on. All right, so I got a brand new battery. The previous one, it did have a battery, but the previous one was completely dead, and it was actually bad. I tried to put it on a battery restore or like charger, and was not charging it. So that was just a bad battery. So I got me a new battery. Battery. Fits like a glove. I actually got it from Amazon, the battery. They're a whole lot cheaper. And I've had good experience with them. They haven't really went dead on me. And if they do, I just charge them up and they charge up fine. So for how cheap they are, you can't really beat them. It's like a third of the price from like Walmart or something. So he's in. Do got power. Let's see if this thing will crank over and start. I just want to get the oil circulating so we can get it warming and get it changed. fuel screw turned out, I don't know how many turns, but I kept turning it out until it wouldn't backfire so much. But this starts up a little easier now, and that smoking is just from the heat wrap on the exhaust. But let's see how she starts up now. Alright, so about right there is where I got it. Had to mix with the idle screw, bring the idle down a little bit, but I'm pretty far out on the fuel screw. This thing, it definitely needs to be rejetted. I believe it has a stock jetting or so, close enough to stock, and I don't think it's jetted for that exhaust. But she starts up and runs, and she's not running hot or anything. The light, the heat light, is not on or anything like that. So that's pretty close for now without having jets. But I just want to get the oil changed as well. So drain plug in the external tank on the bottom of there, drain plug right here on the bottom of the case, as well as the oil filter here. So everything is super hot, but let's go ahead and get it drained from here. Yep. Oh, looks like clean oil, but if the oil change isn't done right and it's too much oil, then I'd rather just change it out and change it the right way. It looks super thin. The oil looks super thin, but it's not, it doesn't smell like gas. You know, if they put 10W40, that's still thin oil, so they could have put the right oil in there, they could have not. But we'll get it changed. You can see how much oil was in there. Looked like a quart or two. Yeah, got a little bit of oil. Yeah, I think there's way too much oil in this thing. There's probably another quart right there in the case. So I don't see no shavings though, no metal shavings. Yeah, very clean oil. Looked like it was just recently done. But like I said, it's been sitting, so the guy must have changed it before I picked it up. But yeah, no chunks in here at all. Yeah, fresh oil. But KN 171 that is the right oil filter for it. This is what I got. High flow filter. Always use these filters. HF141, that's the YFZ450s. I think the HF145 is the Raptor 700s, if I'm not mistaken. But just oil up the seals. Yeah, make sure you got the O-rings in there too, and you're not missing them. So, super clean. O-ring there. So. Let me see if all the lights work too. I need to make sure the lights work. Yeah, so all the lights work. So you can see the rear one was pretty new. The guy must have put it on before me, because I mean, that is kind of a light that I would put on. So that's a plus. I don't gotta do that or buy a new light for it. So this one's pretty much done. I'm gonna go in and wash it, and then we're not leaking out the water pump weep hole, so that's all dry. So I can hook that back up. We know that's good. And I did check the coolant level before, and that is full. So oil change done, everything's circulating well. New battery, new, come on, focus, new rear axle carrier bearing and whole carrier, so that's plus. And then the bolts were all loose, so I would assume why that would go bad. But yeah, this one's all good. Oh, and we could put the new grips on there. New grips on the handlebars. So, clean up the carburetor. Put fresh fuel in it. Air filter is brand new. It's got the K&N style, and it's a brand new one. It's all clean. So, this one is pretty much done, like I said. But we'll get it cleaned up, and I'll take some photos of it. And this one's all ready to go.